Today we're going to get right into the stories that we have for you. But before we do that, let me just introduce my guests who are seated already in studio. I have to my left, Paul Eric Ofori. He's the head of research with COPEC. And I also have to my right, Jeffrey Kabuteo-Kansi. He's the executive director for the Revenue Mobilization Africa. Gentlemen, you're welcome to Breakfast Daily. Welcome to this.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, how you all doing?
We're doing very bad, especially with soccer.
Hey.
Yeah. I'm sad.
That's where you're going to start from.
The Black Stars.
Oh, but here today they are going to do well. Oh.
Shameful.
No, today they are going to do well.
But
They're going to redeem
Jeff,
themselves.
Jeff, I thought you were in the spirit this morning.
Shameful.
So where from this diversion?
Unpardonable. Shameful.
What if they score 4 today against Mozambique? 4-0.
I still repeat,
It's
shameful.
it's not even about the number of goals we
unpardonable.
score. It's about our ability to win at the end of the day. All that matters is
You know what?
we win.
If they arrive with a cup this morning after the tournament, I still will work on this team. See,
Really?
some of us know what is Ghana football.
Yeah.
You see, if you see a better coach will win a match by 4-0 and still be sad.
Okay.
Because technically his team did not play
It's
anything
not
good
sound.
and they are not sound, like you're saying.
Yeah.
So it could be just a good Sherlock, 4 chances, 4 goals. But the main purpose of handling the ball, all departments working, delivering the goals, is what has missed the day. And that's why a coach who is in good standing will be telling you, I don't like to listen to a coach tell me we'll do our best. Those are
Jeff,
inspirational speeches.
Jeff,
I want a coach to tell me I had a problem with my wings.
Yeah.
I've worked on them and I'm making some changes.
Yeah.
That's how come you see a coach on the field of play making some sound changes and the impact. A coach makes a change and makes a change on the same player in a 90 minutes game. God Jesus. I mean, are we serious? Are we playing football or we are watching football? Look, let me tell you what. This morning, let's hold our hearts. Because I watched Mohamed Polo, video clips of Mohamed Polo.
Yeah.
Then my generation saw Abedi Pele.
Yeah.
We saw Frimpong so we saw, the latter days of Ismail Ado, Osei Kufo, Charles Taylor,
But you know what the
Please,
problem is?
please,
right?
I beg
Don't
you.
You know what the problem is, right?
The problem is we've gone in there to scout. That word actually I don't want to hear again. Scout for players outside the country and bring them to come and play football. These are not the ones dedicated to play football. They are playing.
No, Jeffrey. I understand your angst and I understand your
No wonder some of us are actually
grievances
out of
and
this,
all of that.
this,
But
this support base.
you know what I believe that the real issue is? The real issue is that historically, Ghana has had our black starlets. In fact, let's go before black starlets.
Thank you.
We've had our coats, right, who graduate into the starlets. Then for many years, almost the entire starlet team will move into satellites and will move into meteors. And then the entire meteors team will then become black stars, right? But if you look at the current black stars, ask yourself, how many of them played starlets?
Kweku, you know why I've been quiet all along?
Why?
Ghana lost it since 2010.
Yeah.
After that World Cup,
Yes.
we've not been.
I believe that's where the problem began.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that is where we needed that overhaul. All right? Getting the right coach, getting, what do you call it? The right management to be able to manage.
You know what he said this morning that I loved? He said I was singing gospels. And the gospel I sang has impacted on the both of you.
But
you realize something?
Jeff,
You realize something?
Jeff.
He has brought the solution. He spoke about the basic levels, the codes, and
that is where it needs to start
and the
from.
continuity.
Inter-schools
I
and all
even
those
think, think it's not even so much about the coach per se. It's like you're addressing the problem by cutting branches and other things. You're not dealing with the
a good
roots.
example when we actually had Ceciso and the rest train and groom the starlets, and then Otofista came in. The mindset.
You benefit
the
from
mindset.
what the people have done from starlets and satellites level.
Let's
right?
go straight into our
No, honestly, I think that, it's part of a mindset of
we need a
Ghanaians
reorientation.
that says, look, we have to be interested in preparation. We have to be interested in training.
Right.
We have to be interested in continuity. We have to
Right.
be interested in longevity of things.
And that's what
Just
helps.
generally, I'm not even talking about soccer alone. I mean, generally across the country, in all the things
When we
do,
were winning
let's
the
be
African
interested in
Cup,
these
did we win
things.
with foreign coaches?
If you want to know the state of Ghana football, just look at our local league. That clearly is the definition of
Do you
Ghana
know
football.
Bobo,
All right.
Bobo won
Guys.
for us
All right,
a World Cup.
hold on.
All right.
Go to our stadia. Just check the stadia we have.
Right.
Accra Sports Stadium, Kumasi.
But
Go
even
to
the one that we
Asipon.
built, even the one
We
we
had-
built in
we
Cape
had
Coast,
West.
even
We
the one
had
we built,
West.
even the
So-
one we built,
so-
even the one, the most recent one that we built in Cape Coast, there are weeds growing out of the stands.
If
There
you
are
haven't
weeds.
been there,
I've
to
seen it
experience
myself.
Yes,
So
I was also
yeah,
there
there are
for a
weeds
funeral.
in the stands.
We actually used it for a funeral.
Yeah,
so I
there are
was
weeds
there
growing
to
in the
see
stands. So
of the
it just
stadium.
tells you
Mine.
our mindset. Anyway, so we're gonna
Anyway,
let's go to the first story.
Right.
Renewed disturbances in Bawku. Very unfortunate that over the years we've not been able to deal comprehensively with the Bawku situation, and ever so often it rears its ugly head again. Let me just I'll read a story from citinewsroom.com, but the Chronicle also has this story here. Police, military avert bloodbath in Bawku. And it says here, and I'm going to just jump into a part of the story. Let me start with the beginning. It says here, the timely intervention of a Ghana Police Service patrol team in Bawku foiled an alleged bomb threat by unknown assailants who took to their heels, leaving the bomb behind. Now, the unexploded ordnance has since been retrieved by the Ghana Police and handed over to the Ghana Armed Forces for safe custody at the 11 Mechanized Battalion Magazine in Bazua, Upper East. Okay, the two unknown assailants, according to the Ghana Armed Forces, in the early hours of Thursday, January 18th, 2024, attempted to bomb a oil filling station in Bawku. Now, the story goes on there, and there are more details in that story. I want to go to citinewsroom.com and just quickly read for you where the Ghana Armed Forces is denying a role in some deaths that have happened in the area. The Ghana Armed Forces has refuted accusations of involvement in the recent deaths of 3 individuals in Sabongari, Bawku. This follows the January 12th killing of Issa Halidun, a 40-year-old Mamprusi man, which sparked escalating violence in the area. Now, while acknowledging the rise in tensions and the tragic loss of life, the Ghana Armed Forces firmly denies any involvement in the subsequent deaths. Their statement emphasizes that the assailants responsible for the recent attack were not held in their custody at any point. Now, the violence, according to a statement by the Ghana Armed Forces, began on January 12 with the murder of Issa Halidu, a 40-year-old Mamprusi man. Now, on January 17th, unknown gunmen attacked public members, killing 2 and injuring 4 others. Again, on January 8th, the story that I just read from the Chronicle, the Ghana Army Post spotted 2 locals attempting to light a rocket-propelled grenade at a oil filling station in Bawku. And then it goes on to say that the Ghana Armed Forces has expressed regret over the deaths, but warned against direct engagement with military personnel. It's instructive to note that directly engaging the military is a development that could result in fatal consequences, as troops will spare no opportunity to defend themselves as well as protect residents of Bawku. Therefore, factions in the Bawku conflict are cautioned against drawing the military into direct armed confrontation while efforts are undertaken to resolve the current impasse. And the statement is there on our website within the story. All right, let me start with Paul. Paul, so there's different things going on here. Clearly, there have been reported incidents of people seeking to foment and aggravate whatever situation is on the ground there. And then you have security personnel also there trying to quiet things and calm things that are happening. What's your perspective on the story so far?
Yeah, thank you, Kwaku, and good morning to our viewers, and a good morning to my boss, and of course my beautiful wife. Kwaku, I'm afraid I cannot shelve, or better yet, exonerate the military of this very issue. You ask yourself where individuals within a community can have access, 1, to AK-47, and then 2, RPGs. See, rocket-propelled grenades, individuals do not have the permission to import them or to even hold them or have them in their possession. So in the first place, how did they come by these, as it were, weapons to the extent of even making an attempt to bomb so-called an OMC, all right, and for that matter, Goyo? It means that the strategy we have been employing over the period to avert the conflict situation at Bawku is not working. And the earlier we sort of sit as stakeholders to find an alternative in dealing with the situation, the better for all of us. Listen, take it or leave it. It is a tribal issue, and it involves chieftaincy, matters, as it were. And we've known this issue over the period, how the Asantehene, took center stage in attempting to resolve the issue. And to a large extent, it was. So what necessitated this recent, agitations? Two factions are playing a role. You have the Mampusis on one side, and then you have the Kusasis also at one side.
Yeah.
Each of them is being sponsored somehow by our political actors, as it were.
You believe so?
I know so.
Okay.
Ask yourself, where are they getting these cartridges and what have you? We have had situations where the
because
military,
weapons are expensive, so
we have had situations where the military go in at dawn to investigate, as it were, in the homes of these people within the community to know whether or not they are hiding, these weapons somewhere, and they come up with nothing. And you ask yourself, if we have gone to their homes, we have searched around, and we are not finding anything, where else are they hiding the weapons? So there's something fundamentally wrong somewhere. And that is where I believe that we should have a better approach to resolving this issue than we have done over the period. If we keep at it the way we have been, in an attempt to resolve the conflict at Bawku, I'm not sure we'll be making any headways. And so what I think is that, look, we have had CSOs who have been operating over the community for years. They know these people, they live with them. Have this stakeholder engagement with these CSOs. All right, we even have faith-based organizations over there.
Yes, we do.
We can consult them. Some of them have established hospitals and what have you. All right, consult them, sit with them, engage them, let them share their views. They will even tell you where some of these weapons are being hidden.
Okay.
All right, then you can retrieve them, and then also let us find a way of manning our borders so much so that the way a manner, the porous nature of our borders wouldn't give these young people the access that they have, especially with cartridges and other weapons that they've been exposed to. And so, yes, there should be also a political will on the part of government that, hey, let's come together as parties, both NDC, NPP, and all other political parties within that enclave. That, listen, we want to find an amicable solution to this problem. And it has to begin now. I am ready to commit funds, all right? These are the resources that they need. So I, as government, I am ready. You, as a stakeholder, this is what I also need from you. That let us judge as one people. Look, Bawku could have seen some tremendous development, but for this conflict.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm sure you all saw the press release from the midwives and what have you, the Nurses and Midwives Council.
Yes.
Asking for protection for their nurses and then the nursing trainees. Do we have to go to that extent? And we are even having these conflicts, flying all the way from Bawku to Bolga. A professor was killed. If you kill one of mine, I'll also find an alternative to kill one of yours.
Of yours, yeah.
And that has been the trend. But how do we move forward as a nation? Okay, let us have another alternative to resolving the issue. Government should be ready, to commit the needed funds and also engage. Let us also sensitize the youth. Now listen, Bawku belongs to them. And if we keep fighting, destroying property left, right, center, what future really do they have? And so this tangent cannot continue. And that is where I will need that stakeholder engagement. Invite the faith-based organizations, invite the civil society organizations that are over there, invite the military, even the military and the police. They don't seem to be that synergy. They don't seem to be that...
You mean among themselves?
Exactly. In resolving the conflict. And so you find at one end the police doing their thing, and at another end you find the military do their thing. And so when there's that collaboration between them, when there's that synergy in attempting to resolve the issue, then we can make headways. So my solution, my prescription will be that, one, let us have that stakeholder engagement. Let us judge of finding alternatives that we believe could be long-lasting. We know that Santehene can also do his thing and get the matters resolved at the chieftaincy level. But while at it, let us also sensitize the youth and engage them, let them understand that, listen, we cannot continue fighting each other almost every time. I'll come light your house if you light mine, and then at the end of the day, I'll kill one of yours if you also kill one of mine. It cannot continue. So let us have that stakeholder engagement, and I believe we can make headway from there.
I thank you very much for that. The Republic Press has this headline here. Ayaraga, Ghana Armed Forces clash over Bawku killings. Now it says the Ghana Armed Forces has denied allegations that its officers deliberately opened fire on innocent civilians in Bawku, resulting in the death of 3 individuals. Now in a press release, the Ghana Armed Forces stated that they were conducting night foot patrols when they were shot at by 4 gunmen. The officers returned fire, killing 3 of them, whilst the 4th person escaped. Now, the Ghana Armed Forces says it retrieved an AK-47 from the scene and handed it over to the police. Now, I'm reading this story because it goes on to say here, it then talks about the filling station issue. Now, then it says, however, Member of Parliament for Bawku Central, Mahama Ayaraga, accused the Ghana Armed Forces of shooting 3 innocent men without cause. Now it says here, Ayaraga claimed that eyewitnesses saw the incident and stated that the men were apprehended while sitting and were shot despite pleas from the local assemblyman. Now, the Ghana Armed Forces refuted these claims, calling them false information and unsubstantiated. They emphasized that they will defend themselves and protect the residents of Bawku, but also urged the feuding factions to avoid direct armed confrontation. Mahama Ayaraga dismissed the Ghana Armed Forces denial, stating that it's difficult to believe that the military would engage in such actions. He called for accountability from the security agencies and demanded an explanation for the provocations that led to the shootings. Now, this is a respected member of Parliament. And for me to hear this side of the story of what's going on in Bawku also raises questions. And Jeffrey.
This whole situation is very unfortunate and saddening. But I have a history around this thing because I was very little then. I remember myself and KOD.
Okay.
We used to live at Rage. And then we were friends with the son of the then National Security Coordinator, Police Officer GP5. That's Walankaki, Mr. David Walankaki.
Okay.
He was in charge of national security.
Okay.
And we saw pictures, very gory pictures of people killed, and you know, and as a young man
Killed
then,
from which area?
from the same Bawku
The
area.
Bawku,
Yes,
okay,
yes.
okay. So
This
as far back as that, there's been
80s.
conflict.
This
yeah.
conflict has been on and off, fluctuating, you know. So, you know, I think, and Bawku, as you know, it's a business town. Bawku was very active. Business used to be very, very, very thriving over there. And I'm sad that they used to manufacture metal stuff, like, you know, so then they started these local guns and things manufactured over there. I think we saw all these things grow, and, you know, sometimes the security lapse becomes a headache. I mean, so this is a very worrying situation. We cannot have one part of the country having this problem all through. It's a test of our security systems.
Yeah.
We leave this country with strong military combat to go and, you know, fight for peace in other parts of the world. You know, we are known for our peacekeeping skills, you know, and so if this happens in our own backyard, it's rather unfortunate. Properties have been destroyed, you know, both private and government structures, organizational structures have been affected. And so look, these are the issues: destruction of lives and properties. There's a state of fear and trauma. And you know, this is actually constant panic. You know, when you define health very well, you realize that, look, it's not only the absence of disease and illnesses, but that state of complete social, psychological, and physical. Now we even add financial well-being, actually. Because I mean, if you don't have all these, the domestic impacts. Look, some of the people who have been lost are breadwinners. So if somebody's father is the only, you know, some people, the spouse is in the house managing their children, and then the man is the one who actually takes care of the family. If that person is lost, I mean, this is a very big problem here we have. So these are the impacts. I mean, the high cost of maintaining law and order. This military base over there, the state is losing a lot of money to get them to be staying there, maintaining peace over there. You know, in the face of, you know, security situation where police and civilian relation is very low. You know, if you have to put all these resources together and take it to one side of the country because people have decided to be selfish in their interests, it's very bad. And then the deeply injured relationships. Like you said, over time, one kills the other, and for years, this one knows that this area of people actually killed my father. I mean, if you don't heal the wounds...
Revenge killings.
Look, we need to look at the Rwanda situation, the Liberian situation. War is not a good thing. Finally, I'll look at the way forward. Look, I think instead of having troopers there, we should station a military base over there, a permanent military base, that like the way we have some of these military commands in the southern parts and the other northern parts. Let's have a military command over there. But that one should be production and construction units of the military. So, for example, if those who are producing, let's say, leather products like shoes and everything else, and they are producing dress and the other materials, they should be producing something so that now they start working over there, and then their factories, they will employ civilians. So they start employing the young ones, instilling some discipline in them, and then working on them. The next thing is to hold regional and national.
That's a very interesting
confab,
suggestion.
You know, so but
like how we have Kamina Barracks in Tamale.
Perfectly.
We can have another barracks
over in that place.
Bawku itself,
but it should be production based. So the things that used to happen over there, for example, look in Accra, when you engage the military, there are land guards misbehaving everywhere. But when you engage the military to form the wall, like around the Achimota school, the military were the ones who formed the wall. There was no soul to touch a block over there. So you have to put them there, they're permanent, they'll be running factories, and then if you have the palugu, whatever, you want to move it there, the farmers to take their tomato there, and then the production starts over there, the military will engage civilians, and then, look, a lot of these young people have idle hands. I'm not saying there are no undertones, but I'm not sure, as you sit here, Kojo, if you are influenced by somebody to, like my brother was saying, there are people behind buying the guns and the bullets, but those people are not buying them their brains. So they can decide, look, I'm going to work. So they will not be interested. Then look at the issue of actually reorient the young ones, and then also sit with the adults and discuss this thing. We need to improve transparency and honesty around the subject. Look at what the military is saying. Look at what the honorable MP
is also
said.
saying, yeah.
Look, at the end of the day, I can say it on authority. One of them is providing untruths. One of the parties.
They can't both be right.
Yeah, they can't both be
right. They can't both be right.
So at the start of it, Kojo and myself and the three members here, if we are given the job to go and investigate this matter, the truth will come out that one of the parties are lying. Like the accounts will say, no credit back. So at the end of the day, the iota of mistrust will be built on the dishonesty. If God forbid I slap you, and he's standing here, and he decides to say that I didn't slap you, you have two people to contend with. I am the one who slapped you, but he has actually also angered you because he's actually decided to say the untruth. Look, there was shooting. Some people have died. We're not talking about assault, like as in wounds alone. People have died. You don't joke with such a subject. Let's get the people to be honest about the issues. What happened? Let's seal it and then also go ahead. Finally, I'm surprised. I wanted to be hearing statements from the National Peace Council and then also see the National House of Chiefs and other agencies to come together to move into Bawku and start talking to the people. I think there should be a lot of meetings around this one. We should have the regional, we should have the national one before we should move into the community very well and ensure that, look, these young people know that, look, you might be thinking you are feeling strong, but let them know, let them see videos. You remember when we were young, this information services, they had some vans, they used to show Citi. Let them see videos of young people who are making things happen. You know, in Ghana, TikTok, then you see people doing another different thing altogether. In another part of the world, TikTok, you see somebody even folding dresses. And they will fold it in a wonderful way. You see how they are making things happen in their world. Look, let us make sure these young people, their phones they are holding, is not for sending messages for violence. It's not about, in fact, even in the period
so we need to improve
election
our
upcoming.
cyber
this happening in the period of elections upcoming. Start talking to them that it's about ballots and not bullets.
So I just wanted to comment that in Bawku, there's actually the 11th Mechanized Unit, you know, of the military.
Nice.
But it's a battalion. But I think that, for me, I think that it's an entire, an entire permanent barracks.
I'll still insist it should be production-based.
Yeah.
You know, like we have the 48, they construct roads. And then
so
they have
something like that. But
and even at around 37, they have a unit where they sew the dress and things. You know, they have a shop. They have their own military shop. So they are. I
see the Ghana. I'm sure.
Expand just as they have their private services, who are like education. They have services. I had the humbling opportunity of attending 48 engineers. So that's a military school. You know, so they should give them the chance to manage the schools over there. Also train the youth.
And then get the young people involved as well.
We should start with some generation. You know, it happens, and the head generation will be the adults. But let's reorient the young ones. I think we can do something about it. Let's not give up.
All right, fantastic.
Yes, Bawku, briefly, I earlier began by saying that we cannot absorb the military of whatever has happened. You know, lives have been lost, and the earlier we sit and fine-tune alternatives, the better for all of us. One is capacity building. We need to build the capacity of both the military and the police in relating with the community. How do you relate with them? So much so that you avoid some of these needless, excuse my language, killings that we find ourselves in Bawku.
What is there to excuse about killings? It's needless. In fact, if you want to say senseless, it's senseless.
So, my brother, allow me. So all I'm saying is that we should have that capacity building for the military in relating with the community much better than they have over the period, so we can avert some of these deaths that we keep recording on a daily in Bawku, basically. Okay, fantastic.